Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Natalie and today I'm going to make a card using some die cuts, metallic paints, watercolours. I've got a bit of a mixed media, splashy watercolour vibe in mind, but I want to keep it restrained, clean and simple. So what I've done to start with, I've got a 4x6 piece of Daler Rowney mixed media paper, a die cut from vellum, maybe to add behind my main die cut as a little bit of softness. And I've cut 3 of these leafy shapes from this die, which I got from a small shop on Etsy. And I was wondering if I needed to stack all 3 to give it a bit of dimension, but I'm wondering if 3 might be too much. I might keep one spare in case I want a white one perhaps, and then just stack these. So I'll do that first. I'm going to stack them and then I'm going to colour them. To stack them, I'm just going to use this all-purpose tacky glue, a little bit on each leaf. That's stuck together now. I'm just going to give it a bit of a press down with the jelly paper on top to keep the fingers clean and to keep the die cut clean from sticky fingers. I think that's fine. So for colouring, I'm thinking I might do my background this tealy green, but not metallic, I don't think. I think I want to save my metallic for my die cut so that it's not too overwhelming. So for the colour, I'm thinking this rose gold. I think that would work nicely with a tealish greenish background. There's lots of ways you can add metallic shimmer to your die cuts. This is just the one I'm going to use today. I like this because the paint pools in the little indentations of the leaves and it gives it a bit of added dimension. And I can do multiple coats if I want, but we'll just see what that one looks like. We might splash on a bit of darker metallic as well. I think I will give it an extra coat. Just needs a bit more solidity, I think. Might lose a bit of the dimension, but I think that's fine. So I think I will add a bit more colour to it, but as I said, splattering on a darker, this is a coppery colour, just for a bit of variation. Try and get a splatter on every leaf. So there we have it. That's my little die cut all coloured up. I really like that. It's nice and shimmery. And I'm going to have this here, quite possibly now with this white die cut behind it, and maybe the vellum, but we'll see. But what I want to do now is to add a bit of colour to the background. I'm going to use my watercolours and create a mixed media-ish splishy splashy blob behind it. So to start with, I'm going to wet the whole paper. Just let that sit for a second and get some of this colour here, 818 in my palette, my Mungyo palette. But I'm going to mix it with a bit of 830, which is a green. See if I can create a nice teal. Yeah, we're getting there. A bit more of that, I think. A bit bluish. We'll go back to that green. I think that's quite nice. There we go. And I'm just going to add some, I don't want it too dark, but we'll start off by adding this and then we can lighten it in a minute. And just smush it out a bit with my paintbrush. Okay, and now I've got a bit of tissue. Again, just of smushing like this. I'm going to dry that and then add some more colour on top. Try and encourage these harsh lines to vanish a little bit. And I'm going to do that with my Smoosher, which is just a bag, sandwich bag with a bit of kitchen towel. Squished it in it. So mop up some of this. Again, I'm going to go in and mop up some of the edges. I'm starting to see some layering. So now that I've added several layers of the watercolour using the paintbrush, the Smoosher and a bit of paper towel to lift stuff up, I've got quite a bit of depth there, which is what I like, and I think that will sit quite nicely on there. What I have done accidentally is splashed blue watercolour, and these colours are staining, which means I can't really lift it back up again. So instead of making this the whole card panel, I'm thinking I might chop it down and mount it on another panel on the card, so that I do have a clean area of my card. What I am going to do though is I'm going to, because I've done splashing, lots of splashing, unintentional, I'm going to add some extra splashing. And because I'm going to cut it down, it really doesn't matter where it goes now. I will lighten these splashes up and keep the darker splashes for the darker area. And again, that gives that sense of depth and dimension. And this bit I'll be able to use for something else, because I can always use splashy bits of paper. Although that looks pretty, I want to add a little something else behind the leaf, I think. And I'm thinking stitching, or at least faux stitching. Let's have a look. Maybe this one, this sort of dotty one. Now, I will use my stamp positioner for this. So pop you in there. And I think I'll add a bit of tape in that corner because the paper's warped, or with all the water and the heating. I just would like it to stay put. I could possibly put one of the magnets in there, but I might get in the way of what I'm trying to do. So I'm thinking slightly off centre, and just some black ink. And the black will give us some nice contrast. And it's about the right length, I think. So have a look. Yeah, I think we'll give that another go. Oops, got sticking everywhere. Yep, that looks good. I do think I want a bit of variation. So maybe this little zigzaggy stitch, that just sort of peeking from behind. These stamps are ever so sticky. Oh, that came out well. And let's have a look. Maybe something down here. We could do crisscross. If you wanted to do something like this and you don't have stitchy stamps, you can just doodle it on, and I've been known to do that in the past. I just sometimes like the look of the stamped image. What about, now I'm thinking about it, that would actually sit very nicely behind there. So we could pop, if we had that there, I'm thinking about there. Yes, all right, let's get rid of you. So I was thinking of doing the circle in a different colour. I was wondering about Uncharted Mariner, which would go nicely with that, but might be introducing blue, which I'm not sure about, or Peacock Feathers, which is very similar in colour, but might be too close. But I think we'll give it a go with Uncharted Mariner. We can always let it dry and then maybe stamp on the black on top if I don't like it. Oh, I think that's all right. Just needs a little bit more. So I've got this stencil, and I think as we've got quite a uppy downy design here, I thought it'd be nice to have a few little things going across. Maybe the Uncharted Mariner, but quite accurately, just one or two little bits here and there. Is that too big still? No, but I will get some masking paper. I'm going to use a little bit of the low-tack tape to mask off a few little holes, or mask off the rest of the stencil. So I've got a few holes, and the beauty of the low-tack tape is it's translucent and I can see where I'm going. So let's do those three there. What I'm going to try and do with this is give it a bit of dimension by just rubbing this embossing tool along the seam, the vein on each leaf, just so it's not so flat. I'll give it a bit of a curl. Like that, that's nice. And then we've got the vellum, which is nice and floaty. Like that. Or we could create a bit of a break using the white. But I think that hides it too much. I think the vellum. Now I don't need to bother, I don't think I need to bother embossing the vellum. Might do that actually. They're curling in the right direction. They were curling backwards before from where I pulled them out of the die. There we go, rather like that. What should we use? Micro glue dots. They shouldn't show through the vellum. Almost melts into the background. There we go. Right, cover you up quick. And you just go back on there. Lovely jubbly. And we'll do some glue on you. I think probably just on the branches and the occasional leaf. Let's see how we go. And I'm going to offset the leaf and the vellum just so that both the vellum's visible behind there. I'd like to bring some of that rose gold back in. Just splatter it on the background. What I want to do is place the sentiment over this, because I think I need to have something on top of the branches to make it all feel like it's one thing, not just a bit of something with a bit of something else stuck on the top. So to start with, I'm going to cut this down to an appropriate size. Let's have a look. Yep, that looks good. Almost looks like a bookmark now. I'm going to have another piece of mixed media paper. I just want to chop a little bit more off so I can squeeze it on there. Okay, and pencil. There we go. So that should be about the right size for that to sit on that. But I'm wanting, I think, to give it a darker edge, so I'm going to use this, the Uncharted Mariner. Okay, so I've got a card blank. That's just a linen textured card blank. I think I'll pop it there so that there's a bit of space either side. I'm thinking the happy birthday needs a bit of the Uncharted Mariner behind it. So we'll just use what we've got on there. And pop that slightly off centre of that panel, I think. And we just want a bit of craft foam, I think, just to pop under the end because it'll be flapping around otherwise, and we don't want the flappy sentiment. Bit of glue. So this is where we are with this card. I'm thinking it's verging on the not so clean and simple at the moment, so I did wonder about popping it on, maybe taking it off there and popping it on. Oh, maybe just taking that off. Hang on, let's do that. It's the next day, as it happens. I wasn't sure whether I liked it or not yesterday, so I thought I'll leave it, put it to one side and see what I think the next day. And I'm actually liking that a lot more on a bigger card. I need another bit of craft foam to add onto the back of that. I think it's amazing sometimes what difference a little bit of extra space, around a design makes. Now, is that going to be high enough? It's a bit floppy, but I think it'll do. It's not going to be that obvious. So instead of a 4x6 card, this is going to be a 5x7 card. Line that up right over that side. There's a little, dearie me, it's a bit early in the morning for this. A little bit of glue from the tape runner from yesterday sticking out there. There we go, hide that away. And we'll pop it so it's got a equalish amount round there. Oops, that's a bit previous. Come on, get you lined up nicely. That's about right, and pop that down. Yes, I like that a lot better. I'm thinking I want a little bit more dimension on this. So I was wondering about enamel dots. So I've got these greens. this pale bluey green here, or a bright, I don't like that, no. And I thought about those, but I think they clash a bit. We don't want to introduce another metallic. And I've also got copper Nouveau drops, which would work well with that colour. But I'm liking the idea of adding just a little bit. I wonder about these. That's too close, so is that. But then I've got these, so maybe a little bit like that. Just 3. Oops, that didn't stick. Oh, it's lost its sticky, that one. Let's find a bit of glue here. Oops, not too much. Let's stick that on like that. Maybe just shuffle that one as if it was under there. Oh. And we could add a couple of these teeny tiny ones. They're a different colour, but you wouldn't know because they're so small. There we go. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice little odd number. And do we want some copper? Maybe just some teeny tiny. It's a bit cold in my conservatory this morning, and Nouveau drops like to be warm, I find. But yeah, you get these little, they turn into sort of Christmas trees instead of domes. 1, 2, 3. I think that'll do. Keep it simple, as she says, adding more and more. Right, we'll just give it a slap to get those domes forming, and that's okay. Right, I think that is actually finished now. So there we go. That's my messy mixed media clean and simple card. If there was ever an oxymoron, that is it. But I'm pleased with that now. I wasn't sure yesterday if I liked it, but now I am. I think the larger card and the addition of a few little dimensional glossy dots has finished it off just right. So thanks for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you have, do let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you've got any questions, let me know as well and I'll get back to you. Right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.